Toxic parenting is a situation where parents doesn't provide enough support for their child. Even for little things in the house that you may have not realized can be considered a toxic way to do parenting. I'm doing this topic because I really want to raise the awareness of toxic parenting, and if you happen to have such parents, please hang in there and try not to be like them once you're having your own children. Toxic parenting, as we all know, is a bad way to guide the children. Being under control by a toxic parent could cause mental health problems for the child, like having an inner child where we still have our childish side as an adult because we didn't get the support we were supposed to get, and so on. So, what are the signs of toxic parents? You can see this by how they treat you at home. I asked some of my friends this question, and most of them are able to answer it because they have experienced it at home. The first answer I got is when parents feel superior. In Indonesia, it's common and become a regular habit to respect older people and not to argue with them. This stigma is then become a shield, a protector for toxic parents to not letting anyone be against them because they feel their opinion is right, and no matter how polite or nicely you are when you're proving them wrong about something, they will still consider you an immoral child. This is indeed a one sign of toxic parents. They won't let you express your opinion, thoughts, ideas, even though you may be right. Your opinions are better than them. This also happens to me a lot when I was trying to say that people make their own choices, but my parents always tell me what to do and not letting me do things by myself. They often put me under pressure, and the only thing I can do other than listening to them is wishing that I was never their child. I know it's a bad thing to wish that I was never their child, but sometimes I just can't stand the situation. I don't feel free and I cannot do things that I love. This become the second sign of toxic parenting. It is controlling. They always tell you you have to do this, you have to do that, but there is no specific target from this. And if one asks why do they do this to their children, they will probably answer that they already give everything, for example, their money to their children, so they want a feedback from that. Whereas, in my opinion, it is already an obligation for parents to always support their child financially. There is no such thing as giving parents feedback or vice versa, because if you want to be a parent, then you have to be ready to raise your children because it is your own choice to have children. That is why I always keep this in mind. If you're not financially or mentally stable to have child, then don't. Children were not born for fun. They are also individuals, humans. They are able to think, to have their own preferences, and parents cannot control them and make them to be the person they desire or simply become them. There is a better way to give children advice for things they do wrong, but controlling them is just a no. Let's make one example. Your parents control you and your studies. They want you, but more like force you to get perfect grades, trophies, and they won't accept any excuse for C or D scores. However, when you fulfill their wishes, you got that perfect grades all over your test papers. They don't even bother to congratulate you. You don't get any appreciation for your hard work. This is the third sign of toxic parenting, as the answer from one of my friends that sometimes also happens to me. Getting a support and appreciation because you're working hard must be relieving because you realize people know that you're struggling. Receive support from parents can help the child to have a stable mental health in the future. Other than not giving support and appreciation, toxic parents tend to invalidate their child's feeling, making them feel unsafe even at their own home. Parents should be able to make a good relationship with their child, since most child's first closest people are their parents. Thus, invalidating child's feeling become the fourth sign of toxic parenting. I want to share you my story that shows the less nice side of my parents. For information, I am one of those people who think a lot. I often think and mostly worry about basically anything, even the simplest thing. This bad habit of mine often leads me to get headaches and feel not wanting to continue the rest of my day. One time, my parents asked why didn't I do well in school? Why can't I organize everything, even just to tidy up my room? And I replied to them, "Oh, okay, I'll do it later. I don't have the energy to do it right now." And they asked me again, why? And I told them I might be excessively thinking and worrying over something. And guess what my parents said? They said, "You're still in high school. What could possibly cause you to overthink? We think and worry more often than you." I cannot do anything other than holding my tears. Why, for the love of God, I can't have such an understanding parents. I don't like the way they invalidate my feelings, and the question is, are high school students not allowed to worry? Moving on to the fifth and last sign of the day, toxic parents like to compare their child to others, or if they raise more than one children in the house, they compare it to one another. To be honest, I don't get compared with other child a lot, but I do often feel like my parents doesn't treat their children fairly. Another information here that I have two younger siblings at home, which makes me the eldest. I'm not going to lie that I often feel envy for the fact that they provide everything for my younger siblings, give them a proper support, yet I have to get through things by myself. I once asked my mom, why don't I get the same love and affection they give to my sister and my brother? Then my mom answered, "You had you had already had your time with us 5 years before the second child was born. So it's their turn." Which left me speechless. It doesn't make any sense. If their second child was born after I turned 5, doesn't mean that I live only for 5 years. I cannot stand this. I really want to say, even though your second and third child were born, I am still breathing here, I am still living, and I am still one of your children that you should take a good care of. Well, that will be the last of signs that we're talking about today. There actually are still so many traits that can affect child's mental health, but those were the common 5 toxic traits that often happens in one child's life. I'm going to give you a kind advice that if one day you would like to have children, please, 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 please treat them the way you want to be treated. They're humans, they will grow with different perceptions, so I think it's better to not force them to become the same person as you. That will be all for today. Much obliged for staying with me until this very end. Have a pleasant day.